Through wars, recessions, depressions, natural disasters, and catastrophic historical events, we find a way. Now, most of us, we don't have the time or the expertise necessary to found a big, huge company, let alone a bunch of companies, right? But we can, with just a little bit of money, and a little bit might be 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, whatever's little to you, can accumulate stakes in these companies. We can own small amounts of these companies all around the world. Now it happens, the miracle of free market happens right invisibly, right before our eyes, right? Through these four things, not by the guru money managers, but through these four things. Population increases, economic freedom, knowledge and collaboration, and mutating technology. That's what creates wealth. So we'll start out with population increases. We know back, there was 1 billion, 2 billion back in 1927. We hit 7 billion in 2011. I don't know when we're going to hit 8 billion. But back in 1804, when there was 1 billion people, there wasn't a big pool of really, really smart people to tap into, right? As the world population grows, the world gets smarter and smarter, not to mention the sharing of information. Now I'm up on technology now. I figured out on the internet there's a clock, a worldometer is what it's called, that counts the world population. So now we're at about 7.5 billion is what they estimate right now as of last week. And then we have economic freedom. People, when free to trade, are succeeding where decades of government schemes have failed. And we see that with the communism and socialism, and recently with Venezuela. So here's economic freedom, 2016.
Every day, men and women around the globe go to work, each with the same goal: to prosper. But what's not the same is the degree of economic freedom each country offers to its people. Every year, the Heritage Foundation ranks almost every country by its economic freedom, and the results are pretty interesting. The index uses data from sectors like business, trade, governance, and policy to generate a score, with 100 being the most free. Countries that score high are those that have a business-friendly tax code and governments that encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. In addition to enjoying higher levels of financial prosperity, people in these free societies live longer, have better health, are more educated, and surprisingly, are better protectors of the environment. The good news is that in the past 2 decades, global economic freedom has been increasing. 2016 is the 4th consecutive year of a global increase. But you'll notice that only 5 countries have reached a score above 80, which qualifies them as free. Of those top 5, only Switzerland has become more free in the past year. The competitive Swiss economy has moved into 4th place, while the 4 other free economies have declined. While there has been global progress towards economic freedom, nearly half of all the world's countries are still considered either mostly unfree or repressed. You probably wouldn't have guessed that Estonia and Chile are economically more free than the United States. This is mainly due to their fiscal prudence and their openness to international trade. It's also interesting that Argentina is one of the least economically free nations on Earth, mainly due to big government interference in the financial sector, which has depressed the whole economy. At home, we see economic freedom here in the United States continuing to drop almost a full point to 75.4 over the past year, matching its lowest score ever thanks mainly to continuing growth in regulation and public sector spending. 18 other developed countries also became less free last year, including Sweden and Japan. So why does all this matter? It turns out that while there is no single solution to the world's major challenges, economic freedom can have a powerful effect on improving society. Our data shows that the 5 freest economies in each region are significantly more prosperous than the 5 least free. Every year's index confirms this point, showing that countries that score higher on the index also perform higher in 3 key areas: income per capita, social progress, and democratic governance. Economic freedom is not just about data and rankings. It's about empowering people to choose their path in life. And while the principles of economic freedom serve as a sure guide, they are nonetheless only a guide. What truly will matter in the years to come are the creative solutions to pressing world problems that are certain to flow from people who are truly free to choose.
Yeah, so economic freedom is critical. and critical to investment success and wealth generation. Economic freedom has been linked to higher incomes, higher longevity, lower infant mortality, better education, cleaner air and water. If you look at the most free countries, they have just like our country, right? Increased life satisfaction. Here's a quote from Bono. "In dealing with poverty here and around the world, welfare and foreign aid are a band-aid. Free enterprise is a cure." You know, if a lot of these countries, especially in Africa and some of them in South America, would become more free, that would do more for their people than anything they could possibly ever do. Look at North Korea and South Korea. A great example of freedom.